Senator Barack Obama's presidential campaign is asking Missouri law enforcement to target anyone who lies or runs a misleading television ad.
Prosecutors and sheriffs from across Missouri are joining something called the Barack Obama Truth Squad.
2 months before President Obama was elected, free speech was reportedly under attack in Missouri. His campaign was accused of roping local prosecutors into threatening charges against anyone who spread lies against Obama or ran misleading TV ads about him.
We want to keep this campaign focused on issues. We're here to respond to any character attacks.
They're not going to tell the truth, and somebody's got to step up and say, wait a minute.
Who was directing the president's campaign at the time in Missouri? Buffy Wicks. You might remember her from this program. She now works in the White House as the Deputy Director of the Office of Public Engagement. She's the one who helped orchestrate the infamous NEA call, which asked the art community to produce pro-Obama art.
When we were thinking about how do we take a lot of this energy that's out there, how do we translate folks who've just been engaged in electoral politics and engage them in really the process of governing.
This is just the beginning. We are just now learning how to really bring this community together to speak with the government, what that looks like legally.
The head of the NEA is also one of President Obama's biggest supporters, Rocco Landsman. He promised just a few days ago to advocate for the president's agenda. And along with Missouri, the Obama campaign in 2008 also sent threatening letters to several news organizations in Pennsylvania and Ohio, demanding that they stop airing NRA ads exposing Obama's gun stance.
And now I learned that Barack Obama supports a huge new tax on my guns and ammo. And he voted to ban virtually all deer hunting ammunition. Where is this guy from?
The letters were sent by the campaign's general counsel, Bob Bauer. They read, quote, "You need not air this advertisement. You have a duty to protect the public from false, misleading, or deceptive advertising. We request you immediately cease airing this." Let's revisit that. The media has a duty to prevent an opposing argument from being heard? Well, let's ask ourselves this question. Who is Bob Bauer, who's trying to stifle free speech? What a coincidence. He's the husband of the Mao Zedong-loving White House Communications Director, Anita Dunn. Dunn has been front and center in the White House attempt to lock out Fox News. But it doesn't stop there. This program recently learned and exposed that Bob Bauer is emerging as the top contender to replace Greg Craig as White House counsel. Bauer threatened stations in Pennsylvania and Ohio that their FCC license would be taken away if they ran the NRA ads. Wow. Now he'll be the chief counsel? And let me ask you this. Would the FCC ever actually do that? Well, maybe not in the past, but the Obama-appointed chairman of the FCC, Julius Genachowski, assured Congress in June at his confirmation that he would never push to reinstate the Fairness Doctrine. That's a policy to control what the media broadcasts.
Senator, I don't support reinstatement of the Fairness Doctrine.
That's interesting, because about a month later, he did appoint Mark Lloyd to be the FCC's diversity czar, who said this.
What we're really saying is that the Fairness Doctrine is not enough. Put some hard structural rules in place that are going to result in fairness.
Who is going to step down so someone else can have power?
So the Fairness Doctrine doesn't go far enough. Oh, and he has some other very new American ideas. One of Genachowski's strongest backers is the radical organization Free Press. That's the one pressing for fundamental transformation of the media today as we know it.
So we need new policies to support media. And I hate to break it to some of you, but the government is going to have to be involved. So what if instead we took a few thousand AmeriCorps jobs and gave them to news-gathering organizations? And why not start retraining veteran journalists, the ones with those deep Rolodexes of sources, in new media skills?
Free Press co-founder Robert McChesney vowed last year that capitalism needs to be taken apart brick by brick. What else does he believe in? In his own words,
I think it's absolutely indefensible to allow this level of concentration in media industries. I think we've got to come up with a viable antitrust plan to break up these concentrated media conglomerates. It's simply, there's no justification for having firms like Rupert Murdoch's News Corporation break it up.
But does this man have any influence over Obama? Listen to the president's words.
When a company like Clear Channel starts gobbling up all the radio stations, or Rupert Murdoch starts having his eyes on a bunch of different media outlets, they can outbid a lot of smaller outlets. What I've said is that I'm committed to having the FCC review what our current policies are in terms of media diversification.
They sound eerily similar, don't they? Oh, and by the way, they do know each other. While McChesney is not on the president's team, he has had several meetings at the White House. So, is this administration aiming for a government-controlled media? One former Obama czar hopes so.
Once we are in that situation where people who we agree with more than we don't are governing, the role of progressive media could change. You cannot have an opposition movement without opposition media.
We know the president is also hoping to control diversity online.
The most important thing we can probably do is to preserve the diversity that's emerging through the internet.
Independent financial regulators are now even talking about policing social network sites like Facebook.
You know, with all of our kids, they don't talk by phones. They talk through the internet, and they talk through Facebook. There are great problems from a regulatory standpoint now if that's being used as a sales tool, because there's not a good audit trail.
So
we got to get there.
You're saying brokers are using Facebook to pitch financial products, and you need to look at that as a regulatory issue.
Exactly.
The president, along with his FCC chair and others, are big proponents of something called net neutrality, an effort to protect the voice of the working class that has never been heard clearer than right now.
And that starts with an open internet. I will take a backseat to no one in my commitment to network neutrality.
Who's for net neutrality? Only the little people, the global corporations like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. Who exactly are we protecting? Then, media expert tells us Obama's proposal for an open internet is really a cover for giving progressive organizations and government entities access to the power of the internet, courtesy of the taxpayers. And then there's the fight to expand public broadcasting in an attempt to slowly silence the private media. Oh, they'll use an emergency like the economy or the collapsing newspapers. Newspapers, of course, have to be saved. So is the Obama administration trying to control our information?
Part of what I want to do is to expand the diversity of voices in media, or have policies that encourage that.
Is he trying to silence your right to free speech?
There's a lot that the president can do using his executive authority without waiting for congressional action, and I think we'll see the president do that.
This, America, is a question that only you can decide.